it figures, I don't know, days off are usually when I find some more stuff for me to do. And I usually end up doing a comparable amount of streaming anyway. But Lauren and Aurora are off doing some errands and all that stuff, and I've got time to take care of some administrative work. I have to get on the phone with a I have to. It's actually a coffee related call that I have to do around 11 o'clock. So I said, okay, I got a little bit of a gap here, and let's do a bonus coffee stream. Let's do it. Good morning. Hello, Star. Hello, Jane. Hello, Tanya. Hello, Stephen and Lori. You guys, it's good to see you. Hello, Seabass. Spencer. Daniel. World's burning, Frank. I guess it's to be expected. You know, I didn't expect it. Call me naive. Out of all the things I confidently, I was confident about, or at least more confident about than other things, it was, well, at least when we won't be on such a war footing. But I gotta tell you, and I've got some things I sent to myself in an email. Um, I sent some stuff to myself in an email so we can talk about it here. Um, just what's happened since last night. By the way, I did a really fun. There was a really fun drum stream that I did last night from on the D Live. I did a drum test because I added some new sound equipment into the band room, and I like it cleaned up a lot of the electronic signal interference that I had with the drums, and for whenever I just sat down and did some jamming with my playlists and stuff like that. So if you want to go check that out and give me some sound feedback, it was fun. Some of the songs that popped up that we jammed to, but I'm going to be doing that a lot more often now. Now that everything sounds good, and I'll like do that on YouTube and a few other places too. After the show, we'll just do a bonus jam. I'll find a way to have some fun with you guys. Maybe we can do like a total request or something. Although I have to know the song, so I got to think about how we'll do this. Your Spotify summer mix kicks ass. I know. I know. I love it. And I'm always adding stuff to it. And when summer rolls down and I'll jump into the fall Spotify playlist again, and I'll start putting some new things in there that I missed last time. And so I'm glad you guys are enjoying that. That's another thing you can find inside of the June bulletin, which is linked actually in the description of this episode. You'll see the latest bulletin for June, and that's in there. Hello, Susan. Just waiting for some people to show up. Waiting for the market crash to buy back in. All expected. Hello, Katie. Hello, Linnea. V. Israel's grip on this nation is too strong. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about all that today. I love Robin, says Tanya. I'm not pleased with Trump's response, says Phyllis, about this whole thing. Well, I mean, yeah. I know. Hold on. I actually got some coffee here. I iced down the Quite Frankly Elevation blend again. Been going hot coffee lately, but I just wanted to I need something chilly. Yesterday was hot as hell. I should have gone iced then. But either way, I'm going one scoop of Keto Brainz, because I'll do the other one later. My daily vitamin. Because everything else comes from steak. Because I don't eat much of anything else outside of that. So you actually save a lot of money when you get this way. Let me see. I have a few things here I want to talk about. But in the meantime, Friday the 13th traditions. Anybody have any Friday the 13th traditions? Will you be watching any scary movies tonight? Will you be watching any scary movies tonight? Last night, you know what's popped up for me the other night? Ernest Scared Stupid, which I can't wait to show Aurora this year. I can't wait to show Aurora Ernest Scared Stupid this year. She hasn't seen any Ernest films. So the other night, Ernest Scared Stupid just popped up, and I didn't know. I guess Amazon just put it on because I was doing something and I heard that troll, and I heard Eartha Kitt. I heard Eartha Kitt's little voice. I said, "What the fuck? Is that Ernest?" So I went in the other room and it was on. I said, and nobody was in there. So I said, "All right, I'll watch it." So I'm looking forward to showing Aurora that this year. You also, if you're not icing your coffee ice cubes, you have no clue what you're missing. You have no clue what you're missing. I'm going to put 2 ice cubes in this so it stays extra. It's too good. But then last night, because I watched Ernest Scared Stupid, Ernest joins the army. No. He died. He's not alive. Top it off, baby. So I said, might as well get in the mood here. Hold on one second. Let me just put the ice cubes back in the refrigerator, if you don't mind. No, in the freezer. Okay. Good old. I got myself a couple more bags. I started running out. I started freaking out. What the hell am I going to do? All right, you ready? Listen. You tell me how the hell I'm supposed to be, or anybody else is supposed to be reading into this. So last night, Benjamin Netanyahu, Operation Rising Lion. Thank you. Oh, dude. Seriously. I'll still take cream in my coffee. If I'm out, I'll still put like a heavy cream in there or something like that. But it's a whole other level. You know, somebody brought up Dave Asprey the other night before I get back into Benjamin Netanyahu, because that's exactly what I wanted to talk about today, but this is too big. And then tomorrow, who knows what's going to happen domestically. Dave Asprey, somebody brought him up the other night, and I said, that's the bulletproof guy. It's been a long time since I bulletproofed coffee, but that used to be the shit. And now, I mean, this is so much better than bulletproof, because the bulletproof is really just the MCT oil. It was the blending of butter in there, the MCT oil, and we would sweeten it with like killer bee honey. This has all that and more. Not the honey, and it doesn't get all messy with the oil. So I forgot who brought up Dave Asprey the other night, but that's interesting. Benjamin Netanyahu, Rising Lion, a targeted military operation to roll back the Iranian threat to Israel's very survival. This operation will continue for as many days as it takes to remove this threat. Now, the real question here is, how are we going to, are we actually separate from this? Because I've seen people saying false flags are incoming. They're going to get the U.S. involved. How have we been uninvolved? Can anybody tell me how we have been uninvolved? I don't know. I mean, even Donald Trump's text this morning, at 6 o'clock this morning, I gave Iran a chance after chance to make a deal. I told them in the strongest of words, just do it. But no matter how hard they tried, no matter how close they got, they just couldn't get it done. I told them it would be much worse than anything they know or anticipated, and we're told that the United States makes best and most lethal military equipment anywhere in the world, by far, and that Israel has a lot of it, with much more to come. I'm only halfway through this statement. It's obvious we are good cop in this situation. hey, take the deal. You don't want bad cop who's using all of our guns, who will continue to get more guns to do it their way. I mean, this is a really strange statement. Not no, not strange. Uh, Telling statement. Yeah, well, Daniel, maybe he did try to stop it. And who knows what this deal was? And none of us are privy to what these negotiations are. But what's being told to us is that, uh, the, you know, perhaps he was saying that Israel is autonomous. They have a lot of our weapons. They know how to use them. They're very capable on a military level. Get this deal done so that you can avoid all of that stuff. But at the same time, to continue to promise that, hey, they're not going to ever see an end to the military support from us, and then to go further than that. I don't know how many people have said that if there is any kind of retaliatory act after Israel does, if and when they do strike, then we're going to be there to defend. So, in far too many instances already, just in the early going, it's been made very clear that I don't know. Lindsey Graham diddling himself. Lindsey Graham diddling himself. Game on. What did he say? Hold on. Hold on. Let me get it up. Couldn't. I mean, he's just one of many. Game on. Pray for Israel. Game on. Pray for Israel. I what this weasel has been jacking off to the thought of this for years. He's a John McCain protege. I saw Charlie Robinson said something like, "Has anyone been able to find something about John Bolton? Definitely must have called a doctor at this point because he has to have had an erection longer than 4 hours already." I just don't get it. And these are the Iranians who are supposedly behind the assassination attempt. So, let's see here. Trump was going to offer them a deal 2 months ago. I don't get it. The universal response has been pray for Israel too. Frank, why do you think these politicians are in love with it? I don't. Well, hey, I don't think it's love. I don't think it's love. And there are far better people to go to jump into. There are just a lot of people out there that do nothing but talk about Israel. I can't do that. I just don't have it in me. I don't have it in me, and I haven't done the research. And there are people who can just they can retell a couple of thousand years of not only geopolitical but esoteric history that I can't do. That's why every once in a while I bring people on. Ryan Gable. That was the most recent one that was extremely thorough. But even in my limited understanding years ago, like around 2009, 10, before I started, quite frankly, we're still doing Sadals in New York, but I was starting to pay attention a little bit more. I paid a lot more attention after Barack Obama was elected because I voted for him, and thinking, this is pretty historic. And then, but at that point, I had realized that you know, the Iraq War wasn't what it seemed, and I was already having a lot of doubts about a number of things. And one of those things I just couldn't understand was Israel. Why we're always taking a hard line and willing to suffer every threat, all the slings and arrows stand in between them and all of their regional enemies, like a buffer loyal bulldog. I said, I just didn't understand why. And more people are going to wonder, like, what is the actual benefit from the relationship? Like, what is this? I don't understand. What's their chief export? What's is it an import export thing? Like, what is it? Those are the basic things that start getting people down. Now since then I've you picked up a lot more context, a lot more history, and of course the show speaks for itself. Though, like I said, I don't dedicate every night to talking about the Israeli government and every aspect of their intelligence apparatus and whatever, and how deeply entwined it is with our own. But still, I just to say is it love? I don't know. I just think everybody out there is almost like genuflecting. I see all the universal here. I'm just looking at all the people pray for Israel, which in itself makes no sense. I just need to know why. Why? If they drop the bombs first, why do you pray for the person who drops the bombs first? Because there might be retaliation? That seems a little backwards, Now, I don't want anybody to be I hate war. I don't want anybody to die, but that just sounds backwards. And then, again, you say, well, Trump might have been negotiating to prevent all this. Israel is an autonomous nation state. And we do know their military capabilities because it's our military capabilities. But all of that distance that you can say, that buffer you can put between Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu really goes away when you see Trump say, describe the airstrikes as beautiful, saying that they are beautiful. They are beautiful strikes. They are done beautifully, and there's much more to come. And there's much more to come. These are statements that are already out there. I'm like, come on, man. Come on. What's this thing I sent myself? Oh, okay. I said, you know what? I need a little bit of clarity. Maybe I can get some. Perhaps you guys can give me more. Because I just need to know more. What precipitated this actual launch? I asked Grok, just for the hell of it. I said, can you please itemize and bullet point? Itemize and bullet point all the stated reasons for this strike on Iran. Okay? And here's a few of them that I got. Number one, neutralizing nuclear threat. Israel aims to disrupt Iran's nuclear program, targeting key sites like the Natanz uranium enrichment facility, which Israel claims is used to pursue nuclear weapons. Like, but when has nuclear threat from Iran actually ever really been, like, where's that come from? And would Iran really use those things against Israel and not think that they're going to get destroyed by everybody? Does Iran not think that if they were just going, hey, we have a bomb now, so let's just kill Israel because we hate the Jews? If that was really as deep as it went, would Russia not have a problem with that? I know Russia has far more healthier diplomatic relationships with Iran than we do and all that stuff. But I mean, so I'm trying to, as far as neutralizing a nuclear threat, is that really it? Preventing imminent danger. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu describes the operation as addressing a clear and present danger to Israel's survival, citing Iran's potential to produce a nuclear weapon within months. Yeah, it's been within months, within years, and decades. Skepticism. So essentially, anything that threatens Israel's survival needs to be dismantled, no matter where it is in the world. And all they have to do is say it. Skepticism of diplomacy. Israel distrusts U.S.-Iran negotiations. This is an interesting one. This is an interesting one from Grok. Israel distrusts U.S.-Iran negotiations, fearing a deal might allow Iran to retain nuclear infrastructure, which Israel views as unacceptable. So according to Grok, and perhaps it's true, Israel doesn't trust how we are negotiating anything with Iran. So to just make sure they get what they want, they're going to drop bombs. It's according to Grok. I thought it was an interesting conclusion they pulled. Degrading military capabilities, right? Such as missile basing to weaken Iran's military strength and its support for regional proxies like Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis, and countering regional influence. So I don't know. I don't know what to nothing makes sense. From the most basic of standpoints, I don't really understand it. The threat itself, I don't understand. Everyone's always cited Iran as a state sponsor of terror, but that's where it's not necessarily them directly, but by proxy. Which, I mean, that's our story. I'm gonna get to your chats in a second. I'm gonna look into the chats. I see it scrolling. I don't want to miss them. That's us too. All we do is proxy shit. All we do is destroy things by proxy, and then we play the role of concerned humanitarians, and we come in to swoop up reconstruction contracts and direct aid into countries that can then be turned over to God knows who and what and for what real reasons. But I guess there's only one room for proxy terrorism, for only one proxy group in the world. And then to say, hey, don't bomb U.S. assets, because then you're going to be sorry. I understand that. But you know what would be a great way to get U.S. assets out of harm's way? Don't have them all throughout the world. That'd be great if we had all of our U.S. military bases only be in U.S. territories and not all throughout the Middle East, encircling Iran, and that'd be nice. That'd be nice, but I don't know. Just from the most basic standpoint, it doesn't make any sense. Hold on. Oh. All right, let's see what you guys have been saying. Let's see. Keep in mind, Grok doesn't have security clearance. It gets its answers from what's on the internet. Understood. But again, you'd think that if there was some sort of a true, imminent, undeniable threat to the world, they would show everybody. Just like we never got any true, undeniable proof that Assad was using, white phosphorus or for anything else like that. You remember that? The gas attacks and all that shit? Where was... It's always, trust us, bro. We love freedom. We love freedom, trust us, and we have to go and do this right now because the world's on the brink. And you never get anything. You say, oh, well, you can't see everything. It's going to, that's sensitive military intelligence. It's sources and methods. Well, I mean, that goes all out the window once you start fighting. Despite all of the lead up, all of the international financial tensions, the screws that were being turned prior to the bombing of Pearl Harbor, everybody seeing Pearl Harbor getting bombed is pretty interesting. I mean, all you gotta do is say, well, did they bomb Pearl Harbor? You don't even need any proof. You know what happened. Now, obviously, there's a lot of ways to obfuscate understanding of things that led to that, but we don't get anything anymore. Weapons of mass destruction. Need I say more? We'll start seeing Iranian flags at ICE and Pride protests. Yeah, Pride protests. What are those? Pride parades. What the hell are those? It's June 13th. It's June 13th. I haven't seen one gay flag. Now, I haven't been looking hard. I'm sure down at the beach it'll be up on the pole like it was last year. But I'll tell you, man, there's a big switch. The game plan has been completely switched. Totally switched. Let's see. Meanwhile, they're passing out riot gear to the people for tomorrow's King Day. No King Day. Sup, ST? They can't end the war. They still have weapons. We can end it all just by pulling back our weapons. No more money. Oh, it's just so simple. Oh, it's just so simple. It's not that simple. Everything depends on it. Good. Let everything fall away. If it can't support itself, it shouldn't exist. You say, "Oh, Frank, well, can a baby support itself?" Don't compare a baby, an infant, to nation states. You know, if you can't defend yourself, your interests, and keep yourself secure in the world, then you know what you got to do? You've got to double down on being the most affable neighbor that you can possibly be. You got to be the best friend and merchant and good humor partner in all things to people around you, because that right there, friendship and being affable, is probably the best defense you have at that point. You know, building allies and whatever, that's good. That would be a good way. But other than that, it's all got to go away. Hello, Frank and Franklies from the West Coast, Washington State. I made it. Love you. Love to you all. Same to you. God bless America. Will the USA for Iran fundraiser be music, comedy, or will it be a new scam? What is that? There's a USA for Iran fundraiser? Don't. I don't think anybody here is going to be doing that. Become a sponsor of the Quite Frankly nightly broadcast before you become a fundraiser for whatever. Hey, Legacy Rant is here. Oh, it's so good to see that blue wrench pop up. I really hope that we get a 2025 Legacy Rant again. That would be great. Haven't heard from... I would just love a phone call from Legacy, to be honest. All right, let's see. It's good to see Legacy out there. Frank, why do you think these politicians are in? Oh, we did that before. I don't think it's love. It's compulsion. It's being compelled, no doubt. I'm not of the line of thought that Israel is the one and only special interest out there. I really do subscribe to the Game of Thrones model, and yes, some houses are stronger than others, but yeah, there's it's very hard to find a more powerful lobby out there, no doubt, because of the kind of baggage that's connected to it. A lot of baggage connected to it. The military, this is from Ricky Lynn, says the military is supposedly leaving Cali today at 12. Then I'm sure Cali will pop off again. What's going on, OC? What's going on, Lizard King? Okay, I'm just going to read your chats from now on. Your boy Death, Friday the 13th. Let's see. Just finished last night's show. Great as usual. Thank you, Steve. It's always good to have Robin McCutcheon on. I love having Robin on. And you know what? You notice there, I mean, Robin is a staunch Donald Trump supporter. Okay, she's a big-time supporter. But even Robin could not put a positive spin on the big, beautiful bill. And I really respect her for that, because I don't, you know, I really respect her for that. Now, she did speculate as to, whether or not this is, maybe it's Trump saying, hey, look at this and take some action. If it was Trump saying that, he should just say it. So I'm not there about cryptic messages, about gigantic spending bills. That I continue to see more and more stuff, in there, more and more things in there, especially on an education standpoint. But that was good. Legacy says, I love you, Frank. 10 plus years. Yes, you all can get a call. We'll have to be one of the special Saturdays and the Franklies. You're here because you matter and are selected by the Holy One. Oh, Legacy. Thank you. What a blessing. Legacy, here, I'll tell you this. The Saturday night schedule. First of all, everybody, tonight at 7 o'clock on this channel, I will still be live. But it'll just be me from last week. Me and Anthony from last week conducting our interview with R.J. Williams. It's wonderful. You're going to love it. It's at 7 o'clock tonight, so it's going to be like I'm not even gone. Next Saturday, I've got a family stream. I got my father and I've got my cousin Jeff coming in. We're going to be talking about summers past, 4th of July's past, stuff like that. It'll be the first day of summer. I'll have a hookah packed. But after that, my ideas for Saturday night streams are really just going to be fun little call-in contests, open lines, stuff like that. So I would love to get calls from people like Legacy Rant and everybody else, and yeah, so I can't wait for the Saturday streams. Well, they're already begun. Saturday stream every other Saturday. Seabass says you can support someone but don't have to agree with everything they say. Marriage is like that. I'm glad you said it. I'm glad you said it. Because there is a prevailing attitude in our side of the political spectrum that is very all or nothing and has become very puritanical. And everybody, there's a lot of purity testing, and you don't need to. You don't need to. Definitely, you got to be checked. If you're not able to call balls and strikes and say, no, that's not good. Oh, you have to look at the hidden meaning behind it. I subscribe less and less to hidden meanings. I know that there's a lot of covert action out there, but especially if you are in the business where Donald Trump is right now, to positively affect and impact and change the culture towards something that's more American in a traditional sense and stable, then we're talking about paradigms that need to be shattered. You can't talk in code, and you can't leave it to people's imagination as to what could. Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. Rosie Rogo, does Dilly call balls and strikes? Dilly calls a lot of strikes. And I actually have to, I don't know. I actually might need to reschedule a couple of people next week. I don't know what's going on there. I got to get Dilly back on, but I don't see a lot of, and I know why Dilly just holds the line. He believes in, and there's a lot of truth in that belief that, you got to keep the center formed. Don't let the center fall. And if people start spiraling out with black pill doomer nonsense, then everything is fucked. And it's true. The real question is, how do you keep people together? And how do you keep criticism constructive? Because there's not a lot of constructive criticism, and people just throw their hands up and take their ball and go home way too quick. So I understand why Dilly and people like him would have a tendency of saying, listen, I'm going to find a way to make lemonades out of all these lemons that we're getting, because there's a lot of good stuff that's going on, but I'm going to find a way to make lemonade out of all these lemons, just because I know the mindset of the average person, and if the center falls and everybody just kind of goes home, then what do we have? But I don't know. I think if somebody like Dilly, if people like Dilly who have the ear of the administration, find a way to be a little bit more constructively critical. That is, if they see anything wrong. I mean, I don't think if Dilly had an opinion, he would hold it back just for. So maybe he thinks it's all hunky dory. We'll see. But he's on the schedule for Tuesday. I'd love to talk to him about that. But I have to really go in through his feed to see if there's anything that he doesn't like. When will the Bronco be on the road? V, maybe today. And then maybe I can start talking about that project a little bit more publicly. You guys, you monthly sponsors, we have a lot of wonderful, intimate conversations on Sunday mornings with our Sunday streams and everything else. And you guys have been there for the journey of the last 4 months. A Bronco, 1987. Oh, what a I don't know. Anyway. That's for sponsors. That's for sponsors. I can't, yeah, that's a long story. You can be in that world and not be of the world. Find peace from within and control only yourself. My advice only. Lizard King, it's great. Lizard King, that's 100% it. And that's what these coffee streams are all about. Especially on a day like today where I'm not preparing for a 7 o'clock show, and I like just getting on Monday morning, seeing how you guys feel, write down some notes for the first show of the week. Not today. Just want to chill. Yeah, hit the thumbs up. Thank you so much. And, yeah. It's really all about how you guys how you conduct yourself. This weekend is going to be very chaotic for a lot of people. This weekend is going to be very chaotic for a lot of people. And for the people who put themselves in the middle of the chaos, there's really nothing that they're going to get out of it. Nothing. You think about all of the people that are going to show up. I mean, you see all these white Marxists that are that are blocking traffic in New York. You saw that one guy, the New York man bun liberal, that had a face off with a black woman in New York City who's just trying to get to work, and it's so incredible to watch this white Marxist try to explain to the black woman who just wants to get to work that work is less important. Work is less important. Being able to support yourself and having the dignity of work is less important than whatever the hell has been assigned to them to go out there and protest. And somebody did a little bit of digging, and the man bun guy, where the hell is he? Maybe I have it over here. He's actually one of the people. Please let me have him in here. Hold on, I'm going to do a search. Man bun protester NYC. Here he is. Okay. You see the guy in the green? He's blocking traffic. And they're trying to explain to this black woman who's trying to go to work. And you say, well, what does it matter if she's black or not? You know, everybody's trying to get to work. The reason why people are bringing it up here is because it's just interesting to see them come face to face and have to work through logically with what they think they're all about and who they represent. And meanwhile, the productive, independent people of the world, who are of all colors, are sitting there like, what the hell? And he's trying. He's preaching. He realizes he doesn't matter. This guy right here has been found out to be one of the people who was awarded over $100,000 for having their civil rights violated during uh, the BLM demonstrations in New York. This is one of the guys who got six figures for being a lowlife. Listen to this.
How is this a peaceful protest if this is not? How do you all white people feel about stopping a black woman from going to work?
Oh no, not work. I care so much.
So you don't care about stopping black people from going to work?
Look at this line that you guys are causing. I'm not causing no problems. I'm not trying to. We're just trying to leave.
What a fucking low life. Did you hear that? Because of course there's no brain, they don't know, they're out there to just, I don't know, maybe he is one of the paid, but still, oh no, not work. Nervously laughing your way through any just basic interaction. Nervously laughing your way out of the, oh no, not work, whatever the hell drugs he's on. Yo. Seriously, man. This is what is out there. This is what is out there. And he's got a pedantic little woman next to him as well. And it's just incredible. These people are never going to really get anything out of this, and their life is not going to improve, and they're just on autopilot, and there's such a basic disconnect. That's why I say it's a wonderful piece of advice right there to concentrate on yourself, especially in a crazy weekend like this. Find peace. Spend time with your father if he's around. Spend time with an uncle. Spend time with a male figure. Spend time with your kids. Spend time with friends. Whatever you got to do, make a good memory this weekend, because these people are wasting their lives, and they're not autonomous beings. I want to share a little something with you. I had an exchange last night with a friend of mine. A text exchange, and you just want to see how basic the disconnect is. My friend got in touch with me probably around 10 p.m., about 10:15 or so. I just gotten home from the studio, and they said to me, hey, on CNN right now, our buddy Alex is on there. Alex Plitzis was on CNN last night talking about the airstrikes in Iran. I went to high school with Alex. We're good friends. He's from around here. He's been on the show a few times, but he served a couple of tours of duty in Iraq and Afghanistan, and then he went right to work at the DOD. He gave me a nice. Me, Anthony, and my buddy Koss went down to Washington D.C. to go see a Muse concert. Back around 2011, 12, 13, I don't know when the hell it was. But we went down there, and we also got a wonderful tour of the Pentagon. And since then, Alex has made a name for himself in not alternative media, in media spaces. Like he'll be in Twitter Spaces a lot, but he'll also be on Fox and CNN. He'll be talking about war reporting and all of that. So you've probably seen Alex Plitzis out there. But he was on CNN last night. My buddy got in touch with me and said, "Hey, look, Alex is on." And I said, is he Is he just talking technical aspects of the strike, or is he talking of, is it part of some sort of a piece to talk about the how the strikes are essential to ensure Israel's security? He says, oh, he's mostly talking technical. Now listen to where this goes. You want to talk about the basic disconnect on all things, on all things. Let's see here. My friend says the panel was discussing scenarios of a broader war in the Middle East, and if the U.S. gets pulled in, if Netanyahu asks. I said, well, I think it's time to cut the umbilical cord. But if we did that, then I think the real Epstein list, the real Epstein files would come out. And then my buddy, and he is a liberal, says, I think the U.S. will always bend the knee to Israel no matter who's in the White House, in my opinion. Oh, look, common ground. You're seeing a lot of that common ground these days. I said, yeah, it's been looking that way. And then also Trump's on the Epstein list. So we're definitely not cutting the cord. So here we go. What am I going to do? Laugh it off? Am I just going to laugh it off? This is like the Roger Rabbit shave and a haircut trick. Dun, 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 dun. Like, am I going to bust through the wall? Do I just, you just let people say things? Like, how far do you go? I said, well, don't get too excited. We've known why he's been in those files for nearly 20 years now. But he's got in-laws, and he's got big-time donors over the years that I think keep him a lot more in orbit than any of, diddling accusations. And he says, well, I think he was diddling. I said, all right, well, if only. I said, if only, then we wouldn't have had to put up with the Russia investigations, 2 bullshit impeachments, the faceless whistleblowers, the J6 committee, an assassination attempt or 2. It would have been in the bag a long time ago if they actually had something so big, but everything needs to be dismantled. And the real thing is, without Congress, nobody can really do too much. So we're probably effed long term, one way or another. Okay, so that was my way. That was my way of saying, yeah, okay with the Epstein stuff. Let's change. Let's just. I'm inviting my friend to help me hate on Congress a little bit, so we can get back to something that could be, common ground again. And here's the response. Yeah, man, American capitalism will be the Walking Dead zombie that takes us all under. I said, I said, what role did the free market play in the federal government spending $37 trillion and being on the hook for $200 trillion plus more in unfunded liabilities? I just wanted to know. United States capitalism is going to be the death of us all. Just tell me where the free market comes in to the government. I know, Chris. You can't reach. I'm telling you, the basic disconnect. Just understand this. Understand that when you see whatever comes out of media over the week, ST, it's a waste of time. I know, but this is a friend of mine, and the conversation had started somewhere else. And I'm not just going to cut and run, because I think that it's just not responsible to cut and run every time for the sake of decency, because it just allows people to think that I got it all figured out. At least plant a seed of doubt, or at least fucking frustrate them from time to time. Do it in whatever kind of a meaningful, calm way that you can. But still, yeah, man, American capitalism will be the Walking Dead zombie that takes us all under. I said, what role did the free market play in all the debt that we have? Well, the government is the daddy, he says, and the free market are the privileged kids that benefit, all paid for by citizens. The free market are the privileged kids that benefit, and the government is the daddy. He says, I'm not talking mom and pop business, of course. I said, but that's capitalism. That's capitalism. I said, well, yeah, free individuals engaging voluntarily with each other is free market capitalism. Taxing, spending, borrowing, using people as collateral for endless loans with massive interest from central banks with no oversight is the farthest thing from capitalism you could possibly produce, as an example. And then for 98% of the spending to be blatantly unconstitutional, from the military to welfare, it makes it illegal on top of completely unethical and immoral. But when we label the problem wrong, then we run the risk of asking for solutions that make the problem worse. This is what I'm talking about. Okay? I said that when you label the problem wrong, the solutions are always going to make the problem worse because you don't even know what the hell you're describing. 25 minutes later, I got a response. Just having a quick chat, brother. Not trying to solve it. I'm heading to bed, my friend. Be well. That's what he said. I said, all right, man, I'm just chatting back. I got to wind down too. How about we have a barbecue sometime soon? It's like cut and run. Capitalism. So are you fucking serious? Are you serious? Capitalism. Capitalism is what generates the wealth that government steals so that it could buy votes and make people absolutely degenerately useless. We talked about that. The 30 million people completely out of the workplace and not looking back in 2010 that Robin was talking about. That was back in the day when I was learning about the difference between the U3 and the U6 unemployment figures and why it was all so deceptive. And then to think that it's going from 30 million people out of the workforce who are eligible to work that are not looking at all to now 103 million. That's capitalism's fault? That's capitalism's fault? Where it was already around 60 million around, and then it jumps from 30 million to 100. And then in 2020, how is that capitalism's fault? In 2020, the brakes were put on the free market in the most severe of ways. Dude, you can't, there's such a disconnect. You can't give yourself over to it. It's true. The free market is the only thing there is to stand by. It's the only thing. It's not perfect because you're always going to be dealing with people who are out there acting in bad faith, who are going to try. There's always going to be con men and there's always going to be bad deals. And you just got to learn from experience. And for the people out there who are acting in bad faith, they just have to learn from experience that you only have one reputation, and once you ruin it, you're fucked. And then, of course, there's a whole other legal aspect to knowingly manipulating people and potentially getting them harmed and false advertising and everything else. But anybody that describes what we're living through right now as late stage capitalism is really, really lost. And it's all because of education. They've been educated wrongly far too long, and this is the chickens coming home to roost. A lot of the people who are the moths to the flame, you have a very small amount of government operatives who are well funded, well organized, that go out into cities. They organize these protests. They give people a surface level bullshit understanding as to why they're out there to protest. They don't really understand the causes, but they're told, hey, you are the new civil rights movement. You're going to be in the history books one day just for being here. Say something inspirational to the camera and maybe you'll be remembered as the new Abby Hoffman. But in reality, it is government provocateurs showing up in certain places, lighting the flame, and the disaffected, rudderless moths come fluttering about. That's what we're talking about here. And, if you have an opportunity to really talk to somebody who is interested in your opinion and maybe gaining a little bit more context, the contextual understanding of how you see the world, and perhaps they really are starting to question their worldview, then by all means engage. But other than that, save your soul. Seriously, save your soul. All right, that's all I got for you today, because I have to get on a business meeting in about 5 minutes to talk about some issues with the future of the Quite Frankly coffee, and then some other things. But you've got a 7 o'clock show. You got a 7 o'clock show tonight right here on YouTube. That was recorded last Friday. It's a wonderful... What? Who's this? The Valbiro ladies have arrived. I don't know, something happened. But that's 7 o'clock tonight. Right here on YouTube, and then there's a whole bunch of other highlights and stuff that are scheduled for upload. So there's a lot of fun things you can watch over the weekend. I appreciate you all. Go out and try some Keto Brainz. Put it in your coffee. It's gonna make a difference. Made a huge. I only feel more benefit from it as time goes on. Your brain soaks up those fats, and you become a Superman. So if you want to try it, get in touch with me. Get in touch with me. I'll send you some samples. But the one-time 20% off code is in the description. Frankly, 20% off. Go check it out. Also, become a sponsor. Be wonderful to have you on. Go Yankees. They swept the Royals, but we knew that was going to happen. That's all. Thank you, guys. Yes. Oh, we're going to be sending a little bit extra Father's Day love to new sponsors over the weekend if you sign up. I always get your mailing address when you sign up, and when we send you envelopes with stickers and everything else. We're going to get you some extra special shit, and much love. Red Sox. Jane, you got a big hole you got to crawl out of. Red Sox. Tigers. Well, Tigers have a little something to talk about this year. Good for you. Quick. I've got 3 minutes before my call. Rapid fire. Rapid fire. Happy Father's Day to the dads out there. Rapid fire. Anything. Q&A. Dodgers. I like Dodgers history, but I don't like the Dodgers as they are right now. I always like Dodger blue, obviously. I love my Brooklyn Dodgers hats, but now I realize why I hate. I haven't worn my Brooklyn Dodgers hat since the World Series. You know why? Because I realized that whereas it is a very romantic age in American history, the 1950s, post-war bliss. You have all those Yankee Dodger World Series. New York is the baseball capital of the world. It's wonderful. The Yankees were winning all those World Series. They lost in '55, but I realized if I was alive in the 1950s and watching those, I would have hated the Dodgers. I would have hated the Dodgers, but I still love that history. I love that history, the local history, the national history. Have you heard any wrens on the Cornell app? No. I hear the Cardinal out there right now. I now know, like I said, I speak fluent American Robin. I speak fluent American Robin right now. The Robin is the one that is waking us up early in the morning. Why are they so frantic? King 40 loves the Red Sox history. Santino, you love Red Sox history until what year again? Of course, I love Red Sox history until up to and including 2003 because it was one heartbreak after another. But yeah, happy Father's Day. What are you doing down there? You're hiding? Why? What happened? You have. Okay, well, we'll talk about that in a little bit. The frantic whistling. Why the hell are American Robins so crazy? GDSOB says we've got a few pairs of cardinals that always chill in the backyard. A few pairs, yes. I think we got at least 6 cardinals that are hanging out. 6 cardinals, got a few blue jays. But the red-tailed hawks have been all over the place lately. Anyway. Yes. Okay, well, now it's time for my call. No hummingbirds around here. We see one every couple of years, and usually only at my father-in-law's house. Lauren,
I think we're like too populated here.
Yeah, that's why your father's is perfect. A few people saw your head and they said, "Hi, Lauren."
Hi, everybody.
Lauren's floating head.
That's the new scooper.
New ice cream scooper? How nice. What are you doing?
Nothing.
Oh, and you want to get in on the action?
I know. I'm one of these.
A pizza cutter. Wave to everybody. Say Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Father's Day. Look at these cheeks.
Come
Okay, that's it. I'll talk to you in a little bit. Thank you for the talk. Tom Sawyer, read it. We'll be back on Monday. Legacy Rant, good to see you. Everybody, much love to you all. And yeah, that's it. Sign up as a sponsor. All the links are below. And I will see you guys. I'll see you guys later. I'll stop into the chat room tonight during the premiere of the 7 o'clock show with RJ Williams and my brother. So enjoy that. Until later. Good night.